Hello friends, and a very warm welcome to another video tutorial with me, Lisa Taggart. It's another mixed media piece using lavinia stamps, and I'm calling this one Courage, where we have our lovely badger in the woods at a crossroads wondering which path to choose. So if you're interested in that, let's first of all take a look at the materials for this week's project. So first off, to begin, we've got our watercolour card, that's hot press, which is smooth and good for stamping. Also using the Kuretake watercolours for this project, we've got Rose Madder Deep, we've also got Ultramarine Pale and Ultramarine, we've got Cobalt Violet, Payne's Grey, and a couple of greens, and I think they are lime green and sap green. Also using some pastel pencils, this time from the Stabilo set because of the nice bright colours. We've got that lovely royal blue along with black and browns. We've also got some pan pastels, the phthalo blue tint, the ultramarine blue, which is a lovely colour, my favourite, magenta, and finally we've got the ultramarine blue tint, which is ultramarine with white. Also VersaFine Clair in Nocturne and Forest Rain. I've got a couple of large round brushes, number 16 and a number 10, but any brushes that you have will do for this project. Also a couple of sparkle pens in gold and red, and a white gel pen, and my Stabilo Ball black pencil along with the Putty Eraser, which is really to help with the pan pastels. Now for the stamps, not too many this week. We've got Tree Den, we've got Tree Stem, Badger 2, Tree Branch and Mini Leaf 1. So if you want to convert all of those into something that looks a little like this, just keep on watching. So to begin, we've cut our watercolour card down to 8 by 8 inches. And we're going to draw in some of the landscape in the foreground. I'm starting with a dip, and this is about halfway down the page, and then I'm going to roughly draw in a couple of banks, and the line up is to indicate where I'm going to stamp the first two trees. Now you'll see with the stamp you can bend them, and I want to vary the appearance of the trees, so I have bent both trees first of all, and I'm going to stamp those and line those up where I have placed the little line, more or less, just to give me an idea where the tree is to go. And as you can see, it stamps in a curve, and I'll finish the top of the tree later on. And now I'm straightening up the trees, and I'm going to add a few more just in the background. Now the trees are complete and dry, and I'm taking out my Kuretake paints, and as I said earlier, is Rose Madder Deep, and also the Ultramarine Pale, Cobalt Violet, Ultramarine, Payne's Grey and Sap Green and Lime Green. So I've taken those little trays out, and here's what the swatches of the colours look like. I've got this little palette which is handy, it could be a little larger. So I've spread the colours just to activate them, and we're going to have a go at painting the background. Now I'm going to just do this right over the top of the trees, because ultimately the trees are going to be painted in a dark colour, because they're very much in front of the light in this picture. So I'm starting off with the pale colours and gradually building the colours up. And I have the idea that I want light to be coming through the trees and a little bit misty, and I'm just putting this down as always as a first layer and see how it looks at the end and judge whether to leave it as it is or to enhance it further with some pastel work, which I think I do in the end up. So I'll leave you to it, and you can see how I'm building up the different colours with deeper colours towards the left hand side. I'm leaving the horizon line slightly lighter and adding also the rose colour and blending that out and seeing how it looks. And as always, I have a piece of kitchen towel handy, and if something is too saturated or needs removing, whilst it's damp, I'll just dab that away. Keep going until I'm happy with it. Now at this stage I'm carrying on with the foreground and essentially just mixing purpley bluey colours. I'm filling in what turns out to be the path in purple, adding some blue towards the horizon line, and I'm just block colouring at the moment and experimenting with different colours of purple. Now I have to apologise that the bottom of the picture is not in shot. Sometimes I'm so in the zone with trying to paint that I forget to check where the camera is, so I do apologise for that. But what I'm doing is adding the darker purple at the edge of each bank, and I think I also add a little bank across the bottom as well, so that then the path divides into like a crossroads. So it's really just dark blues and purples, and you'll see it in due course. Apologies that it's out of shot. Now I'm mixing my ultramarine blue with my Payne's grey to darken it, and I'm going to fill in the trees. And as I said earlier, the trees are going to be the darkest part of the picture, and the watercolour paints are lovely in that they allow the detail of the stamp to peek through when they're dry. So while it may look like I'm blotting out the detail of the stamp, it does come back in the end. I'm also twisting the shape of the foreground tree just at the top there, and it's a question of going back and forth and adding colour and design and making it up as I go along as usual, and then you can restore the trees over the top of that. So there is a lot of going back and forward, and this video is really to show you my very chaotic at times creative process, and it's all about experimenting and not really knowing how it's going to turn out, but just making it up and seeing what looks good, seeing what works, and hoping for the best. Now this next part I'm freehand painting some lines to indicate some background trees, and I'm doing them very lightly, and what the idea wanted them to be quite pale, and it's basically lines going from the horizon line right up to the sky. And I'm going to be using a variety of colours, and I'm mixing basically what I have in the palette. So there'll be sort of bluey purples, some purple, some blue, and even some pale grey in the end up. And it's just as usual, trying to provide a variety of shapes and also direction for the trees to be growing, just to make it look a bit more realistic. And where I've gone too heavy with my painting, I'll just dab that out with my kitchen towel. And also, if you dab your paintbrush onto your kitchen towel and run that up where you've painted, that removes some paint to keep it nice and pale. It's something that I have to do quite often when I'm a bit heavy-handed. But you can also stamp some trees in the background if you'd prefer to do that, just keep it pale. But essentially this is just lines running up the page with a few branches coming off here and there. Now this next bit, I'm taking my greens, first of all the lime green, and I'm just dabbing very loosely the colour across the trees and in the banks as well, and it's just dabbing very randomly, and I'm going to deepen it up later on with the darker green, and as you'll see, do little pops of red berries, little flowers, etc. And I'm then going to stamp over the top of this painting and use the little leaves and tree branches to give it additional texture. Just to explain, this is a putty eraser, and it is what it sounds like. It's just a little bit of putty that is very good at removing stray bits of pan pastel. So, and I always find as well when you use it, it can also help you blend colours together. So it is a handy little tool to have, and it is basically like a little piece of putty. Now this next part, I did feel the sky was nice, and of course if you like yours the way it's turned out, by all means stop now. But I thought that I wanted it deepened up a bit, and in particular I wanted it to be a sort of a more pinky purpley tone and a little bit mistier. And I mean, the paints do a good job, but I decided that I wanted to experiment a little bit more with it and add a little more depth, particularly to the left hand corner. And as I say, the putty eraser is at hand as well, and I'll use that to remove bits that I don't like or bits that aren't working. I'm also using my paler colours of the pan pastels that I'm using, which are pale blues rather than whites, to blend in the pink, the magenta, which is rather strong. So that's how I'm achieving the blend, by using the paler colours on top, and also the putty eraser if I want to remove something altogether or blend edges together. And it's just another dance, keeping going until I like it, and removing the bits that I don't like until it looks the way I hope it's going to look. As you can see, I'm using the eraser to bring back in the trees, and I think in the end up I also allow some of the mist to go over the top of the trees. It's just however you like the picture to look. Now the project is complete, and as you can see, I've framed it onto black and a minty blue coloured card, and it's got all its little textural elements. And I've also taken my gold sparkle pen and added some little touches to the lines of the tree and some red dots of sparkle here and there as well. And I think I added a touch of magenta to the foreground to balance out what was happening in the misty sky. So if you enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe, like, share and comment. I also really appreciate those who have provided thanks donations or purchased my artwork or used my affiliate links. All the details are in the description box below. I would like to dedicate this video to Hannah Jacksley, who was one of my lovely subscribers and sadly passed away at Christmas time. Hannah was extremely encouraging towards me and very generous in her support, and I will miss her very much.